Cool. It looks like we're live, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community. This is a place for tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious to unite under all things art and tattoos. We encourage you to join in these live streams and real world events where we offer a new option for connecting with each other to better your art, develop your skill set, and be with other like-minded people. If you're new to our community, you can find us beaming out nearly every day. We've evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on-demand tattoo and art shows that has been expanding nearly every day. We want to say thank you to everyone joining us on YouTube or Facebook, and a special thanks to those of you who are listening to our podcast. If you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, drop us a comment letting it know, let's know where you're beaming in from and that these streams are working. Our event schedule and notifications can be found in our official Reinventing community. To get there, search for and download Reinventing the Tattoo in both app stores, Apple or Google Play, or join us directly at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. There you'll see all of our network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, webinars, and all of this can also be enjoyed on demand and are stored in our library, as well as our YouTube and podcast channels. Again, if you are watching, let us know where you're beaming in from because we would love to hear from you. In fact, we're actually beaming out 5 channels 24/7. If you go to reinventing247.com, you can see our constant rolling content, as well as entering to win a goodie bag with samples from Cheyenne cartridges, raw pigments, and D-Lies Pro. Now, we also have several weekly shows and drawing groups that are really interesting to be a part of. Every Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m., we've got Jason Leeser hosting his Reinventing Drawing Group. Artists are encouraged to beam in with a design that they're working on, or maybe a tattoo that they would like critiqued. Also, every Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have the Tattoo Weekly with myself, Gabe Ripley of Tattoo Now, and Jake Meeks of the affiliate Fireside Tattoo Network. Every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have the evening canon class with subscribers led by Guy Aitchison. Last month, they focused on anatomy, and every month is a new topic. To join the class, subscribe to the canon at courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. Every Tuesday morning, join Ricardo Sturdivant with his Reinventing Drawing Group. Wednesdays at noon is the Tattoo Now show with special guests every week. Every Thursday morning, subscribers are encouraged to join Cure, where all skill levels are welcome, but we really focus on apprentice level fundamentals. And Thursdays at noon, you could find the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. There's also other ways to support the show with upcoming pro development and on-demand shows. There's a whole range of content from Andre Malcolm, BJ Betts, Bob Tyrell, and others. Again, all of this can be found at courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. As we mentioned prior, it is a free community to you. Thank you to our sponsors. And those would be World Tattoo Events. You can find them at worldtattooevents.com. They're the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events in the world. Now, lots of stuff is updating as conventions are rescheduling like crazy, so that is the place to go. Inkjetstencils.com. Thank you to Inkjet Stencils for printing stencils from your mobile or computer. Save your time, your hands, or your apprentice's hands. They have webinars and free samples on their website. Also, thank you to Raw Pigments, an ink company that is tapping into the source with acrylic-free pigments that have been impressing artists across the globe. You can find them at rawpigments.co. And we have D-Lies Pro, known internationally as Dermalize Pro. Protect your art. If you are using saran wrap, watch some of the videos of tattooers to see what it's all about at dermalizepro.com. Of course, thank you, Gabe, at Tattoo Now, providing technology for tattooers for more than 25 years. And the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo, Guy Aitchison. You can find his Biomech Encyclopedia, DVDs, machines, paintings, and more at guyaitchison.com. Also, thank you to our affiliates, Fireside Tattoo Network, the Apprenticeship Diaries, and ecofriendlytattoosupplies.com. If you guys are watching and enjoying some of these live streams, we will be doing real world events too. We've got the Paradise BYOB happening in the beginning of October, where we'll be webcasting shows live, and a whole lineup of very interesting artists that you've seen on the Reinventing Network. November 12th to 14th, you can find us in Belgium at the Brussels Tattoo Convention. Nick Baxter will be there, Ivana and Gabe. They'll be doing some seminars, beaming in an art jam. It's definitely an event that you don't want to miss, and you can catch right from your home. Next May, we'll be in Hell City. Next July, we'll be at the Rock River Tattoo Expo, which is very easy to get to from anywhere in the world. There will be a reinventing track, artists at an amazing venue. Next July, we have the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational in Akron, Ohio with Tony Urbanic. Tony will also be presenting at the Paradise BYOB. Also, guys, we welcome positive reviews on the channels and would love for you to follow us. If you would like to host a reinventing event or to sponsor our community, just send us an email and we can walk you through the process at management@reinventingthetattoo.com. Now, I'm going to be jumping off in the background to read off comments. I'll have my browser open to share inspirations or references. If anybody has questions, just let us know. I want to say thank you to our growing crew of contributing artists, truly helping reinventing reach more of the right people for the right reasons. Thank you for inspiring each other and everyone in our virtual reinventing offices. Now, for those of you watching, we will be letting you guys join the Zoom. A little bit later in the show, we're going to be doing a speed round of the figure drawings. We do have the link posted in our Reinventing Community app. So now I'm going to hand the camera over to you, Guy, and let's do a little introduction of what we have going on tonight.
Right on. Thank you, Lauren, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Yeah, we've been doing figure drawing all month just for the Reinventing subscribers, and we figured since we had Hoko and Adrian here on last week, same time last week for a very fun ZBrush 3D jam. These guys seem game to do something else, and they've invited some of their other friends. If you are an Australian or a New Zealand artist who's tuned into this, glad you could make it. We're trying to open up our event schedule to your time zone and that kind of things, so that hopefully we can provide some outlets for you during the lockdown. This kind of drawing group is something that if any artists there are like, wow, this is cool, I wouldn't mind hosting one of those, let us know, management@reinventingthetattoo.com. But anyway, today we're going to do figure drawing, and we're going to start out doing some really fast poses. And we've got both Hoko and Adrian here to kind of help give guidance here, but mostly I just wanted to remind everyone that the quick poses are not going to look great. They're meant to loosen up. They're meant to just kind of get yourself fluid. You're going to run out of time. You're going to feel rushed. All those things are totally normal. If you haven't broken a sweat by the end of this, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, before we get started, Hoko and Adrian, welcome. Glad you guys could make it.
Thanks very much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So I'd love to hear, Adrian, starting with you. Have you ever done any live figure drawing like this?
I've done it once via, I can't remember what app it was, but I think there's this one called Crocky's Cafe that I follow, and they don't post, it's not exactly live, but they do a lot of photography-based references. So I do that. And then before all the lockdown stuff was happening, I was going and doing life drawing maybe once or twice a month in Melbourne. We had a local life drawing spot where we could just pay like $20 and we'd all contribute to the model and have a couple of poses. And yeah, I have a couple of them posted on my Instagram, I think. You got to scroll down a bit, but yeah, that's I have a fair bit of life drawing experience, and that's normally how I do it.
Nice. Yeah, it's just such a fundamental skill. Hoko, how about you? Have you ever been able to sit down in front of live models?
I've actually only done it in person twice, which I've really enjoyed, and it's incredibly challenging, really challenging. But yeah, so I've only done it twice, but I've done it a few times just using internet-based kind of life drawing, still images. So there's a website called quickposes.com where you can.
That's what we're using tonight.
Hey, that's the one. Yeah, I've done that a little bit. I need to do it more. It's something that it's just a skill that I forget to kind of exercise it. So I'm excited for today's stream. I really need to.
Yeah. Well, as long as you guys are locked down, let's do it, right?
Hell yeah.
So yeah, everyone go ahead and get yourselves ready. If you're working digitally, I recommend you create some empty layers ahead of time. And make at least 6 blank layers right now, because otherwise you're going to lose 10 seconds of each of these 2-minute poses. New layer. And then just start drawing on the bottommost layer and turn them off as you work your way up, or vice versa. Lauren, are we about ready to start screen sharing?
Sure thing.
Okay, so during these, our poses are going to be shown on our device. We're not going to see any of us drawing. Then after we're done with our 2-minute drawings, we're going to do a few 5-minute drawings. And after that, we're going to open up the Zoom call and let anyone who's interested join us. We can start looking at each other's drawings, getting some feedback, and then we'll move into the longer drawings. So,
all right.
Ready whenever you are. Okay, 2 minutes, which is going to feel like 10 seconds. It's a nice kind of symmetrical pose. You can kind of start with a center line.
All right,
But,
so we starting?
Yeah, we're starting. We got 2 minutes.
All right, I'm into it.
Yeah, and you can see where the head is. It's just slightly to the left of center. So, yeah, for anyone who's never done this before, you're trying to find any visual clues, landmarks that you can make use of. Look for the negative spaces between, for instance, between the arm and the head. This is a tricky pose because the figure is sort of bunched in on himself, and some of them has a little bit lost in shadow. But yeah, look at the curves are on the outermost part of the figure as well. Try to track the proportions, how big each curve is relative to the curve next to it. Don't worry about things like fingers. Yeah, with this being a pose from above, you can't really look at the figure in terms of how their gravity is working. If it seems like they're standing or sitting correctly on the foundation of the ground.
It is a very interesting pose, actually. It's got a kind of challenging angle.
Okay, there's that 2 minutes.
Two.
And of course, you feel free to zoom and crop on these too. And with the longer poses, sometimes that's a fun thing to do. Just kind of focus on a part of the figure. For these quick ones, I usually like to just try to get the whole thing. And now look at the negative space. For example, that's a great example here between the legs and foot. There's this really interesting sort of channel of open space. If you can draw the negative space, you've actually drawn the figure.
A very dynamic pose.
Yeah,
Very, very dynamic.
almost emblematic. Yeah, a lot of good things to look for comparisons, like, you know, how far out the hand extends versus the foot, how far down the knee comes, you know, relative to the other foot. Another thing that's very common is to accidentally go off the page. And if that happens, don't worry. Trust me, you're not the only one.
Just did it.
I think I do it on nearly every single one of these there.
Don't worry about if your drawings look great or not. That's not why we're doing these 2-minute drawings. All right. Number 3. So in a case like this, I'll usually try to make reference points for knee, foot, knee, you know, kind of move around, try to figure out where the outermost points of the extremities are. And then look at those triangles of negative space to either side of the torso, the angles. It's actually a lot of really good reference points here.
That foreshortening with the hands going back to that forearm.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
something. If this were a longer pose and we were like actually going to have to do something with those, that would be tricky. I mean, I love the challenge.
Absolutely, but it's always one of those things where it's like, oh, that pose, that angle, and then you end up focusing on that area, just trying to get that right.
And then your time is up.
Your time is up, exactly.
Yeah, foreshortened hands, they usually just look like blob, and you just have to be ready to draw the blob just the way you see it. And if you get just that right blobbiness, it might make sense. All right. So yeah, in the case where somebody's sitting in a chair, something like that, I often find that if I don't include at least some shadow of the thing that they're sitting on, it just looks like they're floating weirdly in space. Of course, that gives you an extra thing to have to draw on top of the figure.
If you have some headspace for questions, Angelina is asking, do you have any tips for shading while doing these?
Yeah, these 2-minute ones, I usually don't get into shading. When we get up to the 5-minute ones, I'll be working a combination of blocking in shaded areas and highlighting. But yeah, for these, I'm just scribbling little lines. And I'll have definitely more to say about shading later. And if there's a guy who's probably in the group tonight, Ricardo, and I've even named a method after him, the Ricardo method, because he's just really good at capturing the figure with simply blocking it in like that. I often work with a gray background. I am tonight. And so when I'm blocking in, I can start with highlights. Find that can be helpful. And I usually use, if it's Procreate, the jagged brush under painting, or in Photoshop, which I'm using right now, one of those kind of blotchy brushes. And I just find that, I don't know, it feels more analog that way, and I'm able to kind of freely scribble this stuff into place. Okay, number 5. So yeah, sometimes when you get a straight side view like this,
S curve down the spine. That's the ticket right there.
Yeah, the S curve down the spine, and also sometimes I put down a flat baseline for the floor if there's a lot of interaction with the floor, like this. So yeah, you get that negative space around the foot and the butt. You get that S curve up the spine. You've got a number of good reference points.
And we lost the Facebooks due to guideline restrictions.
Oh well.
Well, still have everybody on Reinventing on YouTube.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's possible to post something on the Facebook saying if you were enjoying this, please come join us on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll put something up for sure.
Damn, they're quick. I can't believe they caught up on that. Yeah, caught up with that so quickly.
Yeah, either somebody got offended really fast, or their AI getting a lot better at this.
My guess is they saw the male nudity and were like, the algorithms would be my guess. They caught that pretty easy. That was it.
Yeah. There's a pair of legs with something dangling, and yeah, the algorithms could figure that out. One of my favorite stories like that is Chet Zar had posted a sketch, just this kind of doodle of this googly-eyed monster. Had this pair of big googly eyes, right? Yeah, the Instagram algorithms were convinced it was a pair of boobies.
Lewis is. Oh, I guess this is the chair code.
All right, last one. Okay. Yeah. Can we skip this one? It's just too covered. Lauren, there might be a. Yep, there we go. When there's too much, something like that last pose, that can be great practice for, if you're doing something illustrative and wanted to work on your wrinkles and drapery, which are a puzzle in and of themselves. That's not what we're doing tonight. We should have a wrinkles and drapery session one day.
I agree. That in itself is like its own class.
Do you
Yeah,
have
I really need to study that.
You have any of the
Drapery.
Bern Hogarth books? Bern Hogarth's Dynamic Wrinkles and Drapery is a great one.
I do, and you're right. It is a really, really great book. Anything Bern Hogarth is really good, and also Andrew Loomis. Like Andrew Loomis just really set the stage for a lot of that stuff. I still use Loomis proportions on pretty much all of the heads that I draw, whether they're from life or from my mind.
Somehow I've not heard of Andrew Loomis.
I'm almost positive that you have. You just aren't putting a name to the reference.
Okay.
Like if you know of Bern Hogarth's books, you probably ran across, or might even own some Loomis books and don't realize that they're Andrew Loomis.
Okay.
Yeah, the Loomis method is great.
Yeah,
It's
the
amazing,
Loomis
yeah.
method is really, really good. It's like dividing the head into like three. Is it like 3.5 proportions or 3 proportions or something like that?
Well, yeah, it's a circle, basically a sphere with 3/4 of the sides cut off and then divided up. And so it makes it very easy to find the brow line, the nose line, the jaw line, everything. Yeah, I anytime anybody asks me about learning to draw or anything, we're like, right, first thing you need to do, learn the Loomis method.
Loomis method for sure, for sure.
Oof. Okay.
Oh, is that us? That was quick.
That was
All right.
That flew by.
Yeah,
It did
yeah.
fly by.
It's amazing how much. I mean, I've literally broken a sweat, but yeah, we'll do a few fives, and I wanted to keep track of time. So let's see, we're at 24 after. So we've got. Let's see, if we want to leave time for 2 10s and a 20. We should probably only do like 3 5s. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And then after that, we'll open up that Zoom call. And I'd love to see the sketches you guys have been up to so far. But yeah,
Before we jump in, I do want to say thank you to everybody watching in the chat from Wellington, Luis Sanchez. We've got Marcus Brown in Wellington, Svensson in Nelson Bay, Godfrey in Melbourne, Dee Bentley in Choice, and Flo in Melbourne. So thank you to all of you for joining.
Good people.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
All right. So here's where I'm going to probably try to start with just blocking in some light highlights. And easier said than done, right?
Yeah. This is a challenging pose, man. That perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now that this one is sort of like, it's almost entirely negative on positive, right? So yeah, I can't really block any shading in it. I can just kind of block in the shading that's around it.
This has this pose heavily reminds me of some of the poses that I see. I don't know if you're familiar with the Italian artist Roberto Ferri.
Oh yeah, he's incredible.
Oh, it's so good, right?
Blows my mind.
But yeah, I see a lot of like really dynamic, almost like really classical Baroque poses, you know?
So is Roberto Ferri a contemporary artist, or is he?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
He's active right now. He's a relatively young man, hey?
He's in his 30s, I think.
Yeah, he's
and
just incredible.
Okay.
he's like the new Bulgaro, if Bulgaro was more dynamic. He's certainly like a modern master.
I agree with that statement for sure.
Well, here's a sketch that I won't be showing anybody.
I think everyone needs to hear that, though,
Yeah.
because it's meant to be hard.
Yeah, what's the only way to improve is to push ourselves, you know, so I'm into it.
And I think that one of the problems with one of the challenges here is that, you know, we tattooers, we are very used to trying to look good, you know, trying to make ourselves right. And
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
want everything, something you're proud of that you could post. And then you deliberately take on something that you know you're not going to be great at, you know, and even if you're not going to end up posting it, it's, I don't want to say humiliating, but it's humbling. It's definitely humbling. And, you know, especially those of us who are used to pretty consistently being able to make ourselves look good every day, you know, it's kind of tough to just on purpose go into a place where that's probably not going to happen.
I actually forgot that this was a 5-minute pose, and I've been scribbling it like it was a 2-minute pose.
But that's great.
Half
That's
my
great.
problem there.
You're going to thank yourself later for that. Yeah, in some ways, you know, blocking it in, shading first or whatever, it really depends on the pose. In some cases, that ends up being the more time-consuming way of going about it. And sometimes it's the quicker way. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be one of those where it's the quicker way. I think it's made more challenging by the fact that I kind of have to shade in the whole background.
Yeah, that was a challenge that I ran into in order to be able to get these really dynamic, like contrast points.
Yeah. That light skull. If you want to use contrast and pos-neg relationships at all, like it is in the reference, you end up having to kind of accept that big hunk of black.
How much time do we have left on this pose? Just so
Almost none.
Okay.
Oh man, that's
Hey, there we go.
okay. Well, hey.
That was amazing. None, we're
Right?
done.
Okay, so was it a mistake to try to shade the whole thing in? Probably, but I'm still going to do it again. In this case, he's kind of silhouetted against the white background, so just kind of roughly shade the shapes in until it starts to take on the same character. some things look exaggerated, but you know it's a photo. For example, look how far to the right the head appears on the shoulders, right? Certain things
Yes.
like if you were just drawing it out of your head, I know I wouldn't think to do that. I'm not going to get into the facial features at all. I already know how time goes. And the chair, I'm going to have to somehow adjust the chair, right? It'll just look weird otherwise. Although I'm sure there's somebody out there who would be able to make it look perfectly fine without a chair. He's drawn so well with the gravity of him clearly on an invisible chair that you could infer the chair. I'm not that good. Here, I ran out of space, but it's digital, so I'm just going to move them up. And anybody who wants to do stuff like that around here, we do not consider that cheating. You're still arriving at the answer by eye. You're still having to craft this thing yourself. Some of my drawings, I sometimes will use warp or liquefy, if that's what it takes to try to get the proportion right. Again, not tracing, just trying to do a good job with it. Today, earlier, I spent the day painting a backhoe. That was kind of fun. But it was sort of like an anatomy thing because I had to get the proportions right. There are all these different components, arms and things. And it all had to, kind of come together into the bigger picture. And it definitely kind of felt like the thing was posing for me.
That's cool. I don't know exactly what a backhoe is shaped like.
It's like a digger.
Yeah, it's got like
okay.
the big scoop on one side for like snow plowing or whatever, and then it's got an arm with a smaller scoop that you can kind of reach in and dig. So it's got all these like hydraulic kind of things going on.
Oh, that's cool. Like kind of just machinery, industrial machinery stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that would have been very difficult to draw. I find any kind of machinery or architecture to be very difficult. Yeah, the painting came out awesome though.
I had fun with it. The perfect, beautiful day to be outside painting a backhoe. Lauren, how's our time looking?
It looks like about, I would say 30 seconds left. If you can see towards the bottom of the screen, there's a small little progress bar. So I'm not sure. I'd say that it's just about done.
I've been zooming in so that, I haven't been able to see the progress bar.
Oh, we're right about to switch now.
Okay.
We will skip this one, right?
Yep.
There we go.
All right. So this is our last 5. And with these kind of tall, elongated poses, very easy to just run right off the page. And if we were going to do a long pose of her, I would probably just zoom in and get like, the bottom half of her face, shoulder area. But for these quicker poses, I'm still trying to teach myself to get the whole figure down and not run off the page.
I'm very focused on kind of trying to capture the movement each pose during these. Especially, it's so easy to draw a kind of very static image. I think that's where I get the most value out of these, is by learning to loosen up, I guess.
I agree. I try to focus on like the contour line of like the spine and like that, the big motion. I feel like, you know, who was one of the masters at that I still find myself referencing and like not comparing to, but like as a benchmark, Frazetta's work. You know, Frank Frazetta just he had that thing.
I was just looking at his
in.
stuff earlier today. It was like, you know, some muscular dude, right? But just the way that the muscles were painted, a lot of them were just single brush stroke kind of things, you know, but it just works so well. He was in his painting like nobody's business.
The master of the
Frazetta.
deadline.
It's quite funny when I was studying anatomy. Often in the classes they would use Frazetta as what not to do with anatomy, because he was amazing at rendering, amazing at putting together a scene, telling a story. But some of the anatomical mistakes he would make, they're hilarious when they've been pointed out. Dudes with 18 abs.
Oh yeah.
Short arms, lots of very, very short arms, but still amazing paintings.
Yeah, super exaggerated for sure.
Yeah, I remember seeing some pinup girl. I don't know if it was Vargas or one of the other pinup maestros, but these guys would get in the same kind of production kind of pressure as any artist, right? And one of them has got a complete extra finger. And you don't even notice it until somebody points it out, right? It's one of those kind of things. So that's how he missed it.
It's like when you make a mistake in a tattoo. You don't notice until the client comes back. You've tattooed no regrets on their chest.
No regrets.
Regrets.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, the only spelling mistakes I've ever made were their spelling mistake, right? Where I should have no, I'm pretty sure this is not right. Let's double check that. Oh man, we're good. I have one of the biggest tattoo typos I know of is right on me. It's a Mi Vida Loca tattoo, but it says Mi Vida Loco, right? And
amazing.
well, this is Eddie Deutsch who is doing it, and my boss had a Mi Vida Loca tattoo, and I don't know why. I just thought it was cool, and I wanted one too. Not that I wanted to live a life like my boss, but God forbid. But Eddie was like, no, it's loco. Loco is masculine, and you're a guy. Right? A little bit of a misunderstanding of how, but it was great because that at the time he worked for Ed Hardy, and Ed Hardy put out an issue of Tattoo Time where he included the tattoo and made sure for anyone who didn't catch the typo to put it in the caption. Maybe it'll look. Yeah. I always
We're
wanted
winding
to be
down
one
on
of those-
time.
We're about to run out of time again. Okay. Well, then we're going to move to tens. So we're actually going to take a short break. So, all right, we're at 9:40. Yeah, perfect time to take a short break. Oof. All right. Zoom calls open to anybody who wants. Lauren will help let you in. Meanwhile, I'd love to see what you guys are drawing.
Cool. Andrew and Zeke are in the waiting room. I'm going to go ahead and admit them in for us.
Yeah, let me just flip my camera around and you can see mine there. Nothing impressive, right? But again, we're not trying to be impressive. We're just trying to get the basics of these things down. Right?
Pretty impressive.
And to Andrew and Zeke, your cameras are off right now. I don't see a microphone, but Just letting you know.
Okay, so yeah, that's her, right?
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
And to Andrew and Zeke, your cameras are off right now. I don't see a microphone, but just letting you know.
I'm not on there.
Now, if you don't know how to turn your cameras on because you're not familiar with Zoom, just screen, you should see some icons along the bottom that you can click on.
And you do want to mute any browser that's open in the background. Make sure that is on mute, especially if something is broadcasting the stream.
Basically, so that the only sound that you've got going in the room is.
Giving us easy ones here. Thank you so much.
Here's this one that I did not, because I wasted too much time blocking in the background. And then, these ultra quick ones. This is all we're trying to get to.
Well, this is pictures of these done.
All right, so Adrian, you want to show us yours next?
Okay.
Check out what we got.
Second.
That's good. That's really good.
Isn't it?
Can you see? Oh no, I got a screen share. Hey, yep.
Go ahead.
All right.
Here it is. It's on here.
Hi, Dad.
Mhm.
You want to share
That's
yours?
the first one.
No.
That's your 2-minute drawing, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Right. Yeah, I like how you kind of blocked in some of the white around him. These are all really good.
That was right
I
at
like
the
that
end.
we can see your skeleton, your sketch of the entire proportions of the entire figure.
Yeah, that's typically where I start. Is I start with that. Like I started with this line.
Mm.
Can you see my cursor moving right there?
Yep.
Yeah.
We can see your
Yeah.
the spine line there.
Yep. And then I crossed it with my shoulder, knowing exactly where I want to put my head, and I was able to kind of get a general direction of where I wanted to go with it. Same thing with this one. The first thing that I identified was this line. This one I ran out of time with.
Yeah, that was a tough pose, man.
That was a tough
really tough
pose.
pose.
Oh, that looks good.
And then here's the last one.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks.
Right. Well, let's check yours out.
Okie dokie. Sorry, I'll just screen share for a second. Oh. Okay, so am I being shared right now? Can you guys see my stuff?
I'm seeing, white, just blank white.
Okay, cool. So let's have a look here. So this was my first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, second one, bit rough. I found myself kind of battling the software with this, like, just because I'm kind of not really used to drawing digitally. I definitely prefer to draw traditionally, and just messing around with brush sizes and all the rest of it, I found a little bit of an added obstacle. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely took me a minute to start doing figure drawing digitally. I'm so used to just using graphite, but now I feel like I do it more quickly than I could with graphite.
Yeah.
Proportions on all of these.
I think they're a little bit rough. this one, I especially think it's rough. Like, I was continuously tweaking it. Like, originally I drawn the butt to go all the way down here, and then been like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right.
That one's awesome.
Thanks, man. And then we got the 5-minute poses. This guy. the bane of all of us today.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was rough. This fellow, yeah, started to block out a little bit of tones there, but ran out of time again. And then the lady at the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
looking good.
Cheers,
All right.
cheers.
What else we got on the call here? Join us. Zeke, you want to go next? You got a microphone on? Oh,
Yep,
I can't.
turn your microphone on, Zeke. Let's
It's
see.
actually Evan, mate. That's my
Oh, hey,
kid.
yeah.
Sorry. Zeke's here. He's drawing. He's on the floor. Sorry.
Good.
Yeah.
Join us, man. So good to see you.
Hey, how are you? Yeah. It's good. It's fun. Right. What do you want to see? Pictures?
Yeah, yeah.
Little-
Let's go what we've done before.
No, I'll just do them all on one. So I've never done figure drawing before. So, the sun's probably in them, but isn't it? But yeah, basics with the kids.
Yeah. Good stuff. They're looking good.
But
I mean,
yeah,
you've drawn enough that this should not be a total mystery to you. It's just a new
No,
way
you
of
do it.
applying pressure to yourself.
yeah, you do the construction stuff when I do the Japanese, but I've never actually done figure drawing. Sometimes you use references, but yeah, no, it's fun. It's good so far. Off, boys. Off.
I can see it.
Sorry, the kids are in here.
Okay, mine's gonna probably barge in here in a minute.
Yeah, sorry, I've got kids duties, but yeah. Good, keep going. That was it.
We also have Mish here as well.
All right, let's see.
Hey, Mish.
Oh, tap. Just tap the screen. And then
Wow.
All right, we're on you, Mish.
Hey.
Wow.
Is there any way you can turn your screen 90 degrees sideways? Be able to see everything bigger.
Oh, you can't hear us.
Uh-huh.
Right.
All right.
Oh, no,
There we
you
go.
can.
There we go.
Hey.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's her camera is, I think, locked, just giving us a vertical picture, but at least now her stuff isn't sideways.
Wow.
All right, we're on you, Mish.
Great.
Yeah, man.
90 degrees sideways. Be able to see everything bigger.
do you want me to hold it?
I don't know, sideways like that.
Yeah, that's probably that. Looks like you've probably done this before.
All right. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
It's like-
Well, at least it's her camera is, I think, locked, just giving us a vertical picture, but at least now her stuff isn't sideways.
all right.
Wow.
All right, we're on you, Mish.
This is weird.
There's a very long delay echo effect going on.
Yeah, it seems like it's delaying sideways like that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they may be watching the YouTube and we'll
Looks like
be
it's
taking
on
another
YouTube.
view.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
if
am.
anybody's got the YouTube on room still, silence that. Be good. Her camera is, I think, locked, just giving us a vertical picture, but at least now her stuff is inside. Yeah.
I did
super long.
mute Mish for now.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, those look great. Mish, you're going to need to make it so that the only sound going in your room is the Zoom call and whatever other devices you have going on. Just silence the sound on those. We got anyone else on the Zoom call here?
Yeah, we actually do. We have Evan as well. Evan. Oh, we've already you switched your
Evan
name.
was on.
Okay.
Evan was the person I had first called Zeke.
All right.
Who's Andrew?
Andrew, if you're watching, if you can turn your video on.
You
I'll
may
send
need
him a message. Oh.
Sure, he may have stepped away. He had joined earlier at the very beginning of the show.
What is Mish doing? It's partying with that camera. Hey,
All right.
there's Andy. Hey, Andy.
Yeah, video. Let's check yours out. Oh, still no sound. But
Hey, it's Andy.
Oh, he's muted. No.
There we go. You hear me now?
Hey.
Yeah.
video.
How you doing, guys? I haven't done anything. I was just waiting to get on the call. I didn't know there was a pictures coming up, but I can join in now. No worry.
Right. Are you drawing digital or analog tonight?
No, I've set up my limited palette there. So
Oh, no.
Nice.
pretty keen on getting going. It'll be awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Okay. Well, I think the first thing we're going to do is, we're going to have a 10-minute pose. And, just looking at the time we've got, I think we're going to do a 10 and maybe a 20, 25 at the end, and we'll have enough time to look at everybody's drawings then. You guys about ready to get going? And I think we can get picky with the 10 and the longer one. If the first one that comes up isn't super dynamic, we'll just have Lauren pick another.
Sounds good.
Guys ready to get going?
All
I
right.
think, anybody else need a breather or anything? All right, I'm ready when you guys are.
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's good.
Yeah, I think this is a good enough pose for 10 minutes. It looks simple, right? It's not. Yeah, I think for my part, I'm going to go back to just sort of the outline approach on this. Just try to kind of sketch in those angles and that negative space. Find my bearings that way. Yeah, this line is really an important line in this one. It's super visible. It's not always going to be that visible in every pose. But the way Adrian was talking about, like finding the skeleton. So, that line that goes across for the shoulders, there's a similar one that you can imagine, like the point of the hips. You have a line going across there, and that's also visible on you guys. The skeleton is pretty visible.
I also find that the angle of his arm is super, super important, and it shows where he's putting all of his weight and balance.
Yeah. Yeah, it really shows his gravity here. And so, and the forearm and the upper arm aren't totally in line with each other. You can see the upper arm is kicked out just a little bit. But yeah, you can definitely get a sense of there being a good deal of pressure on that hand that he's leaning on. I want to be able to try to capture that. And the fact of him kind of looking off to the right. So it's kind of interesting. This pose, I've heard it referred to as an S-curving pose. Back when I dealt regularly with tattoo magazines, back when those were a thing, for cover art, cover photos, they almost always wanted the figure sitting in one of these S-curving poses where their body is twisting one way and then their head is looking in the other direction. It just makes a more dynamic pose, but I think there's a certain balance to that.
God, I miss tattoo magazines, by the way. I really miss them. They were great.
There was this
Well,
thing that would happen, you know, where the new edition would arrive, you know, or somebody would show up with it at work, and I used to really love just hanging out with other artists. And I mean, my wife and I have done this so much, you know, just really closely evaluating what we're seeing in there, you know, and especially if it's an artist that you know, we like their work, you know, it's like not only was it their latest work, but you could really see it up close, and I don't know, it was like an event because you couldn't just get online and look at it.
Yeah, and I think the special thing about them too is that they were curated by someone, by an artist themselves generally, who had an interest in like they wanted to show interesting tattoos rather than what was going to get a lot of likes. So I think it opened a lot of people up to more interesting kind of artwork and more interesting tattoos, which I really appreciated about them.
Yeah, it's funny because one of the only surviving magazines right now, which is Tattoo Society, I think that Tony probably puts a lot more thought into the way that he curates those. Like he's actually got an aesthetic where back then, you know, these are magazines run by publishers that are, you know, not necessarily artists. You know, I don't want to sound like an elitist or anything like that, you know, because I really genuinely like all those folks and had a very good professional relationship with them, but they didn't necessarily have that artistic eye when it came to I don't know, I think a lot of the time they were just trying to make sure they featured the artists that had supported them, and you know, where it wasn't necessarily based on strict on the quality of the work.
You know who also had a really good reputation for the quality of their productions was Tattoo Artist magazine, and I think eventually they did Tattoo Collector magazine. I don't know if that one's still together, but yeah, that was my go-to. I loved those.
It's fine. Sorry about my dog.
Mesh, you bloody dogs.
So yeah, I just shamelessly free transformed my drawing because why not? Because I remember that feeling of being in a real figure drawing session and knowing that your proportions were wonk, you know, just sweating to get it fixed.
To be honest, I've felt that feeling multiple times today.
You guys are so much more professional than me. Like I'm like, whatever.
So I may have to step away for a minute here and do some dads. And
my guy.
Yeah, if I am not in the room when the next post starts, I'm going to trust you guys to use veto power if it's not a dynamic enough pose.
Sounds good.
But I'm going to go do dad stuff real quick. And like I said, Evan, it's not just you. Okay, let me just finish the shading on this just for a second. Yeah, I know. I've already stay up later than she is, so. She's actually been joining us painting a date that we've been doing, which I think is awesome. And she actually started her own Instagram profile, which I think for a 10-year-old, it's okay if it's just about your art.
I think I'm pretty sure I follow her now, I think.
Nice.
It's called Kaya's Art World.
Kaya's Art World. Yeah. He's killing it. All right. I think I'm going to I'm going to, oh, literally climbing the walls. That means I definitely gonna step away now. I'll see you folks in a few minutes.
See you in a bit.
All right.
Yeah, my proportions on this guy aren't exactly on par either, but doing the best.
My guy's got a bad case of chunky bum syndrome.
Yes.
How long have we got to go? Do we know?
This one, it looks like there's about 30 seconds, a minute left.
How does that go so quickly?
Hurry up, Hoko.
I know, bro. I know.
What are you even doing?
Not drawing an anatomically correct person. That's, that's what
Turn
I'm
the
talking. But I'm enjoying myself nonetheless.
So much fun.
Oh my god.
Is that a pixie I hear? That dog?
Yes,
She likes the party, man.
that's the party. She's so we set up like that extra room into like a studio space.
Oh, nice.
You can now just screen share the differences of being inside and outside. So she sort of yells from the outside to the window.
Oh, yeah.
She has been in
Oh, there's a whole nother pose there now.
Yeah, man. That's 10 minutes down, huh?
Do we scrub out the old one or just start a new one? I guess I get it better keep it so I can show you.
Yeah, keep it, bro.
Cool.
And since we're all digital boys over here, I ain't scrubbing out shit.
Just start another layer, bro.
A new layer days.
Yeah, I'm starting another layer. I tore the previous layer off the pad and
Oh, yeah.
just brought up a new layer, you know?
Oh, yeah. Cool.
All right. This one 10 minutes as well?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yeah, I think all of these are going to be 10 minutes, and then at the end we do a 20-minute pose. Is that correct, Adrian?
Oh, sweet.
I think a 20-minute pose and then a 25-minute pose.
Damn.
So this is
Nice.
the last of our 10-minute one, I think. Or is this the second 10-minute one? How are we
I think
doing
This
that?
is the
the-
second.
Yeah, I believe this is the second.
Yeah, I think this is the last one, and then we go to a 20-minute pose, I think. Is everybody cool with that? I think that's a pretty good rhythm.
Sounds good to me, mate.
How you been, Evan? It's been a while since I've seen you.
You were muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, they can hear you now.
You got me now?
Yeah,
Right.
Hey man, how are you? Good, buddy.
Good.
Good.
doing all right. Just chilling, doing a little bit of work. I'm at a new shop here in the Gold Coast. It's really, really good.
Yeah, you're in Queensland, yeah?
Yeah, I'm in Queensland now. We're at on the Gold Coast now. We're working over at 383 with Palmy Paul and them.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
You
super
guys
good
not
vibes.
locked down? Well, you are locked down.
No, we're not on lockdown. We do have restrictions and stuff, but
Yeah.
no, not on lockdown today.
Today, yeah. We'll see what happens tomorrow, though. Huh?
Yeah, it's been really weird and tense because we're so near the border, and there's a lot of those border issues going on right now. You know.
Yeah, Yeah.
But we're doing our best, keep our spirits positive and all that hippie stuff.
At least it's still working, though. That's good, man. How's Pommy going?
He's good. He's good. The shop that we're at, they just moved it down the road, literally like
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks really good. It has a real kind of vintage Americana vibe. Yeah, I dig it. Everybody there is super nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. It's good to hear.
Sorry to hear about all the lockdown stuff affecting you guys at Gray Street, man.
Yeah, it just kind of is what it is at the moment, isn't it? It's everyone keeps saying that phrase, but it's pretty true. It's not much we can do. So
that's
for now. But family time to do this. This is fun.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Was that 5?
It's almost 5. Looks like it's almost 5 minutes.
I find myself gravitating towards certain pieces of anatomy.
Yeah, I do the same actually.
I've never painted like full frontal dude before, so this is I have to,
What part are you focusing on?
Well, it's knob. It's hypnotizing. It's like a snake from Jungle Book, His eyes all gone funny, and he's all like, he's trying to entangle me. It's working. I'm not even joking. Like, I just can't stop painting it. It's so can't handle.
I'll zoom in.
I've tried to pinch zoom, and then it made me feel funny.
You have to tell him you have to tell Hoko the New York story sometime. We ran into Andy in New York. Andy and Laura in New York. Laura and I were out there. We ended up hanging out for a few days. That was hilarious, man.
It was an adventure, wasn't it? I think it's not a story for the internet, but I think definitely
it's not a story for the internet.
I'm looking forward.
The main theme, the little taster for your Hoko, involves the phrase "flying human meat."
Flying human meat. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Please share. Simply hop off this call. I don't know about some flying meat.
We also got to meet Brienne of Toth was there.
Oh, we've seen it. She defended the honor of that young lady.
She did. That was amazing. Such a bizarre
experience. It was just a surreal painting that we were living out.
Yeah, New York City is a wild place, man.
I've never experienced anything like that in my life. I don't think I ever will again. I hope I don't. I had to throw away my favorite t-shirt.
I remember that. Was that an Invader Zim t-shirt?
It was an Invader Zim t-shirt. You can't get it anymore. Gone.
Bummer.
Sacrificed.
You were so upset. This is my favorite shirt.
I was genuinely upset. Like, it was a good day. It was a really good day, though.
Yeah, it was a great day, like in human and American history, like
In history, yeah.
you know what I mean? It was pretty intense.
No, it really was. It was the day gay marriage was legalized.
The week that they made gay marriage legalized, it was the Pride Parade of that week, and it was crazy.
It was
dude.
fucking amazing. Do you remember that dude that was dressed like Frankenfurter from the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yes.
He was climbing the scaffolding on the other side of the road and like taunting the police. It was just the best thing. The nuances of the stag are just really vexing. So you guys just using Photoshop for your digital stuff? What are you using?
Yeah,
I'm using Photoshop.
I want to try
Yeah.
Procreate.
Adrian, what are you using?
I'm using Photoshop. I want to try Procreate, but I don't have an iPad, and the likelihood of me getting one sooner than later is pretty slim. I ordered a computer that's on its way, so I'll probably be focusing a lot of time on that.
There goes another
All
10
right.
minutes.
Give me 2 minutes. I'm stepping away. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, Hoko, I keep wanting to try Procreate, but then I was just like, well, I just see so many amazing artists that use Photoshop, and I'm like, fuck, if that's how good you can get with that, why, get paid.
That's the way I look at it as well. It's like if every concept artist in the world is drawing on Photoshop with just one of these little tablets, these little graphics tablets, I definitely don't need to spend nearly $2,000 on an iPad or,
and the time it takes to learn, the time it takes to learn that new program, you could just be mastering the one that you're already,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the way I
man,
look at it as well.
learning curve for Procreate is very low. Like, if you know how to use Photoshop, you pick it up straight away. It's so simple. Like, but then at the same time, if you have a tablet, which I know you have, Andy, and then you have Photoshop, you really don't need Procreate. Like,
I just feel like I'm missing out on the Cool Kids Club.
yeah,
You definitely are.
But like, if you do decide to pick it up, like the learning curve for that thing is so like it's non-existent. Like, it's so easy.
Yeah. Intuitive.
Well, I mean, Adobe's or Photoshop's already like figured it out. So all they needed to do was to have. I guess the pictures go.
So
Is that all
while Guy is
charcoal?
gone, we could possibly go around the table and share some of your sketches.
Sweet.
Adrian, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Oof.
Hey.
That was the last one. I definitely am not using correct proportions, but I feel like that used to be something that I considered a flaw in my approach. And now as I've, gotten older, I've just kind of leaned into it and just let it be a part of the language that I use, I guess. And that was the previous one.
That's nice.
Right.
You're just naturally really good at picking up stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I do another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just a little doodle that I made while I was
Tell me
waiting.
what you're gonna do on the
Yeah, I think we just did the two, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. That's real good, bro.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's awesome. All right. Suppose I'll go next. What do we got? Okay. You guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So that was the first one. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh.
I went really kind of like gestural with the brush strokes because I struggle to blend digitally, so I kind of just leaned into it like blah blah, just throwing lines around and kind of But that was the first one, and then we got this guy here who I'm kind of not quite as happy with for like the first one, but yeah, it's all learning.
That contrast, that shadow from under the rib meeting up to the median on the bottom left-hand side, that triangle shape on the reference, that thing, yeah. Wasn't that so like, it was real prominent in the reference, hey?
Yeah, it really was.
real hard to get your head around those.
It's just literally the bottom of the rib cage. But I like that because I like drawing torsos. I kind of tend to draw torsos a lot. And that's it. Going back to Andy kind of focusing on certain parts of anatomy, in his case, the penis. I was focusing on the torso. So that's kind of what I gravitate towards too. Yeah. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll volunteer.
Discontinue your screen share first, and then I will highlight.
Oh, do I have to discontinue? Sorry.
There we go. There
There
we
we go.
go. How about Mish? Let's see what you're working on.
All right. Cute. So I think that was the first one.
Man, so cool.
Nice.
So
man.
fucking good.
Yeah.
And there was the second guy.
Yeah.
And so
Wild,
this is
bro.
all in charcoal?
Just a graphite
Oh,
pencil.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
just-
nice. Really, really, really strong understanding of how like light works on form.
Yeah. For me, like I try to focus on just shapes. Like I don't really think about anatomies and all that stuff all that much when I'm doing these things. I just kind of think about like shapes and flows and things sort of.
Like when you say shapes, do you mean like polygonal shapes or like flat shapes?
Like flat shapes, like I will break I try to break down shadows in like I don't see them in lines, I see them in sort of blocks of shadows, and I sort of block them out.
Yeah.
And then for me that works a lot better. So I've struggled to see things in outlines, so to speak. Like I'm sort of try to see things in just different values of tones and shapes. So I block them out, sort of breaking them to say like three tones, and then I'll block into those shapes and then kind of construct my images that way. I found that much easier for me.
It's super effective. It's super effective.
Yeah, those are really strong.
Yeah, they're incredible.
You're real good, bro.
Sorry, I don't have a drawing to show.
No, you're fine. We just finished 2 of the 10 minutes and we were showing off our drawings. Who's left? Is it Andrew? Andy, that's next.
Yeah, bro. Let me know when you're done. Is it me now? Oh, there we go. Here's this one.
Oh wow, look at that.
Right.
So just sort of like concentrated on this bit. I really like this highlight on this butt. So I was like, that's where I started, and then just sort of worked my way around.
Really nice.
Cheers, mate. Try to get those volumes in here and that, and then but I probably should have darkened this up a lot more, but I was too busy.
I like the volume on that piece of like flesh that rolls up from like his left shoulder kind of fallen. Yeah.
And then the other one I really struggled on because I was just so focused. Like, just so focused on his genitals. Just lays it in there. But yeah, like you were saying before, this math here, I found it like it really drew my in, and I've super overcompensated for it because I was focused on it so much. What you were saying before, Adrian, about not getting the proportions correct is seeing it as a problem where, you know, like you can really lean into that stuff in your artwork, you know, and it's where you can see where the artist's eyes have been focused by sort of what's been exaggerated even subconsciously.
Absolutely, because I think there's something to be said about being able to comfortably exaggerate versus like constantly chasing what you would normally perceive as mistakes, and there's a lot of expression, and I think a lot of like the artist's personality that tends to live in those exaggerations.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sometimes that is what makes the drawing is those little things that are not exactly realistic, but instead, you get some more character that way. I might as well show you guys mine. Just did this one, and I like the foot. There's one thing about it I'm happy with. It says that foot.
Yep.
I don't know why. Yeah. But yeah.
Where the toes fold back and sit on that flat surface. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yep. The kind of the volume of and how that kind of at the angle, just like how the simplicity of that came. But okay, so it's at 7 minutes till 1/2 past, so it's really up to you guys if you want to stay late and do one more 20 or where you're at. How
do you guys feel about one more 20? But do we have anything that's like more bust kind of focused to where we can use a face as a reference to some degree?
Yeah.
Lauren, I do want to ask Flo, did you have anything to share as well?
Sorry?
We do have one more to share before we move on.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
I think we missed out Evan as well.
Oh, cool.
Oh, hey, guys.
Yes, we do.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey. Yeah, good. I've got some 2 minutes in there.
Nice. Yeah. The jumping girl.
Yeah. That's the 3 minutes and the 10.
Those are good.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that 10-minute pose, you really caught that dude's like spine shape for sure. You can see a lot of that gravity on that arm, like I was talking about earlier. That's good, man.
Nice. Thanks.
And Evan.
Oh, good. Gary.
All right.
I'm enjoying it though. I'm loving it.
I'm sure they're great, but you know how you are.
Yeah.
Probably drawing a bazillion figures, but not this way.
No, never. But it's fun.
Okay, so if we're gonna do one more, does it show a menu where if we want, like Adrian was saying, like a bust, let's say navel up, or
I can go ahead and share my screen to see the settings, and we can maybe decide on it from there.
Yeah, find something that's like head, shoulders, and upper half of the torso, that kind of thing.
We'll go face. Under type, we just go face.
Oh, the faces are so much harder.
Would you like to keep it at pose?
I'm sorry.
Would you like to keep it at pose or go ahead and select the face?
Well, if we just let's look at the faces and see if there's some that show a little bit of shoulder and upper torso. And the other thing is, of course, we could just get a full body pose and sort of zoom into the upper half.
Okay.
You know, watching can pinch and zoom all we want.
Perfect.
Those
Like seriously.
metrical poses are terrible though.
License photos.
Yeah. Well, to do that one.
Up to you
I was
guys.
thinking something more like 3/4 angle. Like I like your
Yeah.
idea. Maybe something that's a pose that we can even just crop the top of.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Lauren, let's go ahead and go back to poses. And woohoo!
That's how I fire a gun as well. That's the exact clothing I wear every time. Super
I was just
practical.
gonna say that would actually be a really cool reference if the mesh shirt wasn't there.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So that's what we draw.
No, we need head, shoulders, and yeah, get somebody who's in a more upright position.
It's getting closer.
Yeah. I mean, that would be tough because it'd be hands too.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, Hoko, does that remind you of Metal Gear Solid 5?
Metal Gear Solid 5? Oh, that last one. Yeah, man. It's ridiculous output for a video game character, ever.
This one's good. If we just go like from her navel up,
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be tricky
That-
20
yeah,
minutes.
that works. That works
Okay.
for me right there.
Okay. I have to step out again for a minute, but hopefully I'll have time to do most of this drawing. I'll see you folks in a moment.
See you in a bit.
Good luck.
So this is going to be a 20-minute one? Is that this is
Yeah,
the
man.
last one in a 20 minutes?
And say navel up.
Whatever you want. With a bus. Okay.
hear that concentrating silence, eh?
Oh man,
Yeah, I can hear
everyone
like
knows.
everybody here, like I can hear like little pencil marks and brush strokes. Sounds like drawing class.
Yeah, everyone knows this is the big one, the big
This
20.
is the big
Big
one.
one.
Yeah,
Hey.
exactly. That's definitely my favorite part of life drawing sessions is when, like, you know, when you're definitely all loosened up and you're like, all right, cool. You know, this is, like you said, this is the big one. This is the long one. Especially when you have a really good model that understands like understands like the challenges of life modeling and accounts for those things, you know, like knows that she doesn't want to get fatigued, or he doesn't want to get fatigued, so they lean in a certain direction to make sure that they're, you know, the muscles fall in such a way that they don't end up moving during, you know, the 20 minutes. It's really rewarding when that happens, because not all life models are the same, that's for sure.
Hell no.
And there was the spot that we'd go to in Melbourne called, I think it was just Life Drawing Melbourne, maybe. And I met this model there named Rose, and she really, I think she does like salsa dancing or something like that, and like acrobatics. And she was a really good model. Like she understood all of those challenges and dynamics. And I feel like some of the best drawings that I got out of my time going to that spot were of her poses.
Yeah, nice.
I have a similar experience with models for my paintings. There's one model that's constantly showing up in all of my paintings, which is a professional dancer with like the New Zealand dance troupe. And the same thing, she knew exactly what to do, how her body worked, and she just moved into position after position effortlessly. Really knew how to accentuate her lines and poses. It was really remarkable, having sort of, I learned a lot from her about what I needed models to do that sort of benefited me in the future. It was really, really awesome.
Absolutely. Laura and I have a friend from Canberra who's a model that we've hired quite a few times for photographs for references. And the same thing, like I've never sat and drawn her from life, but her understanding of like modeling as a medium really was really, really rewarding to work with. Like she just made it super easy. She, you know, gave a couple of ideas as to what we're trying to achieve. And like, I wanted to kind of have like, you know, like we were referencing certain artists, or I was even pulling out a couple of sketches, and she knew immediately, yep, okay, cool. And was able to just like hit those poses, and not only like poses, but like account for things like the old Italian contrapposto pose, where you put your weight on one foot, and then you kind of let the other side of your body kind of like kink down, and it makes this kind of like broken kind of cross approach, you know. Yeah, it's really, really rewarding to have access to models that understand those things.
Got to hand it to life models as well. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Andrew.
Yeah.
You talk.
No, you're right. No, I was just going to agree. It was one of those things I decided to pay a model, you know, a professional model to do the shop professionally, and I got my money's worth out of it. You know, it was really worthwhile.
Yes, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Okay, I'm back. What did I miss?
Hey.
We were talking about the craft of good modeling and how good models are very rewarding to work with.
Yep. And even at their best, there's going to be a certain amount of drifting and shifting around.
Absolutely.
Tricky to avoid. But a good model is able to recover their pose. Let's say someone points out to them, hey, you've drifted a little bit. Okay, let's see if I got time to do anything with this. I might start with highlights. Yeah, what about 10 minutes into this? Yeah, one nice thing about approaching it like this, where we're not doing the whole figure, is you can actually do a little rendering in there. I like to tell the story about one time Timothy Hoyer was visiting, and he's just an amazing artist all around. And we had a figure model during his visit, and as always, I tried to do the entire figure and squeeze this whole big sprawling pose into this small picture plane. And then at the end of the pose, I look at Timothy's drawing, and he had just kind of zoomed in on this small area of just like armpit, collarbone, breast, and not much else. And yet it was just such a nicer looking painting than mine. I had painting envy.
Timothy is an incredible artist.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of my favorite artists from the tattoo community. I mean, I say that in vaguely, like I don't have any favorite artists, so to speak, but definitely his stuff has always been something that stood out.
Yeah, a lot of it is very sort of like stylized, allegorical, but then recently he posted some just dog portraits that he'd done. It's just incredibly technical paintings, and did not know that he had that in him. No, I take that back. I've seen him do really technical stuff like that before. John, how are we doing on time?
Looks like we're about 3/4 of the way done on this one.
Okay.
Is this right?
Yep, right there.
Okay.
Sometimes it's almost better to not know, but anytime I've been with a real figure drawing group, usually they'll give you like that 1 minute notice. And it is good to know that 1 minute. Say, oh, okay. What, like the leg that I didn't even start yet. Let me get it locked in. Because mine is rushed. I had to step out. I'm only going to have the vaguest impression of the facial features. And I know that was kind of the whole reason of doing this bust. But, you know, working with the time that we've got, I'm just going to try to get basic proportions of this pose.
So my Photoshop's acting a little bit buggy, and I didn't want to reset my computer, so it didn't work out exactly how I wanted, but it's still pretty cool.
Man, so much concentration in the stream right now. Probably the quietest, the most quiet Zoom meeting ever.
Yeah, we're probably not all people who are normally this quiet. I know I'm not.
Andrew is.
Andrews, Jesus.
Yeah, Andy.
The few people that in the stream that know me in real life could call you a liar to your face. I'm actively trying not to constantly chatter.
That's what I wanted to do.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have
one of those pieces where the more you touch it, the worse it gets.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because you get into these longer poses and then you feel like, well, now I've got to do something that actually looks okay.
Yeah, I had that freak out a little bit ago. I was like, oh, I've been messing with settings. You idiot.
You forget it's very easy to forget it's about the exercise and not about the finished product with these things. Like so much of the learning is within those poses or those sketches that you do that really fail hard, because that's where you figure out where you're lacking, where you may have gone wrong.
Absolutely.
Fuck me.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
She looks like she's been in an accident, like a really bad accident. And I feel like I'm exploiting her face because it's interesting. You know what I mean? Like it's.
I used a weird brush that I made this time, and I've never really used it this way, and it's super weird. You'll see it in a second.
So Adrian's just gonna blame the brush.
Oh, I guess
She's over. Fuck.
Well,
yeah, man.
let's
She
just
heard
take
all of our criticism.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's mine real quick.
Guy Atchison's.
Yeah. Terrible, right? But of course, I only had like 7 minutes to do mine, so that's my excuse anyway. And look, I'm still drawing. No time is. I don't have the model in front of me. Okay, let's see everybody else's.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. There you go.
All right.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
This is my guy. Again, still
Okay.
kind of struggling with the software because I just haven't put enough time into digital painting. So I was just like doing super gestural with the brush stroke, just be like blah, blah, blah. Yeah, pretty rough, but I learned a lot and it was very enjoyable.
I think that bigger brush strokes sometimes look good though, you know, with this sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's still important to get in there and add in that detail, you know, have like draw that focus to a certain area. You know, like I would have loved to have been able to render this face more and then just leave all this just like, you know, just these parts here and then have the face nice and detailed.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, it's all learning. So
Yeah.
I'll get there one day.
That's good.
Thanks. All right. Who wants to go next? What you got, Adrian?
Alright, let's
Yeah.
see.
Figures out.
Damn. Full Adrian.
So I spent the first little bit messing with this, and then I had some issues with my brush. But this is the brush that I made. I'll show you what it looks like. So it's this shape. I basically made it as, for me, when I draw snakes. So I'll show you. Start another layer.
So it's
real
like
fast.
snake rib cage brush.
It's a snake rib cage brush, and like I can move it based on the angle of my Wacom pen, and it also like it is pressure sensitive. So like let's say I want to do a snake's head right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I basically use that to do that.
Uh-huh.
Cool, man.
Not just for snakes anymore.
It's not just for snakes anymore.
All right, who's next? That's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, the ability to make your own brush in Photoshop. I mean, you can do it in Procreate too, but I just still only know how to do it smoothly in Photoshop.
Yes.
Let's head over to Mish.
Yeah, let's check out Mish.
Is that?
How good is that?
Yeah,
Hey.
look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Here.
All the personality for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. The only one to like render that hand, that bottom hand, I reckon.
Right. Just a little bit too much curve in the wrist.
It's a very difficult hand actually to do.
Yeah.
Put it.
I think we're feeling that. All right. Who else?
That's awesome.
Let's go to Andy.
Woo. So, as you can see from my painting, her facial features are scared of her ears and have all huddled together in the middle of her giant thumb-like face. So yeah, I was pretty disappointed with that effort. I know where I went wrong. So usually what I'll do for like studies, like life studies like this, is I'll start painting the features and then move out from there. And I thought, I'll start with the size of the head and then put the features in. And I fell on my face hard. Well, I fell on her face hard. Her face has been really hard.
Andrew Swarbrook, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. I learn things. I paint faces like literally. That's what I paint with faces all the time. Look, there's a face right there. That's a good face. But that is not a good face.
Well, yeah, this is deliberately outside of the comfort zone kind of face. So.
And you knocked it out in 25 minutes. That's a really good 25-minute face.
Yeah.
Oil
We all
paint.
All right, who else? Who's next?
Flo.
Yay. Yeah, that was a struggle.
Oh, it looks good though. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
got those proportions down. Yeah, the lower hand was hard because it's sort of like bent upwards so radically, and yours might be exaggerated a little bit too much. But like the proportions of the elbow and everything else,
Yeah.
all looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, not very familiar with faces. So yeah, it was definitely out of the comfort zone. That's good.
All right. Anybody who we have not seen yet?
Evan, would you like to share?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Heck
cool.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the nicer ones in the group. Very nice. Yeah.
It's fun. It's good. It's interesting.
Nice. So, is that everybody? We missed anyone?
I think
I
that's
guess-
everyone.
I guess my question would be, I'm going to have to run next, but before I go, my question would be, would anyone be interested in doing this again?
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. I'd be interested in.
Yeah,
And-
definitely.
And is this a good time to do it, at least during the lockdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely. I just need to plan it in advance. But yeah,
There
if I
are
can't
other
make it, I'll
times that work
definitely-
better. You know, let us know, because I mean, we're still we're trying to figure out the best scheduling for you guys. You know, I mean, there's some certain hours that don't work great for us, but I mean, almost any time that works well in the Australia, New Zealand schedule, we can make it work for us. So yeah, why don't you guys give that some thought? And if there's anyone present or anyone that you know of who might be interested in hosting a drawing group, and it doesn't have to be about anatomy, just get together and draw while we're shut down, chance to, you know, hang out and have our morning coffee and just work on drawings and shoot the shit, you know.
Absolutely.
Anyone is interested, just let us know, management at reigniteingthetattoo.com, or just let me know directly. I wanted to plant those seeds, but yeah, meanwhile, I'll be in touch with you guys all privately about if next week same time works best. And yeah, man, as long as the lockdown's going on, let's keep some stuff going, you know, so that we can at least hear other human voices.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds good to me.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been great. And
Take care, everybody.
Adrian, Hoko, thanks for helping me host this thing, and be seeing you guys soon.
See ya.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
Yes. Thank you.